Shanghai is a city of stunning contrasts. It is a place where the past and the future live side by side. You can see this everywhere you look, on every street corner. Ancient temples stand quietly in the shadows of soaring skyscrapers. Narrow, traditional alleyways, known as Longtang, open up to wide, bustling boulevards filled with designer stores. This constant interplay between old and new is what makes Shanghai so fascinating. It is a city that never stops moving forward. Yet, it carefully holds on to its rich and complicated history. This creates a unique energy that you can feel from the moment you arrive. This city is more than just a tourist destination. It is a global powerhouse. Shanghai is a major center for finance, technology, trade. What happens here often has an impact on the rest of the world. Its port is one of the busiest on the planet, a constant stream of ships connecting China with every continent. The decisions made in the boardrooms of Pudong's financial district can influence global markets. Shanghai is a window into modern China. It shows the country's ambition, its innovation, and its rapid development. Understanding Shanghai is key to understanding the direction the world is heading in the 21st century. The city's skyline tells a story of incredible ambition. The Oriental Pearl Tower, the Shanghai Tower, the World Financial Center reach for the clouds. They are symbols of China's economic miracle. But if you look down from these great heights, you will see a different story. You will see the winding Huangpu River, which has been the city's lifeblood for centuries. You will see the historic buildings of the Bund, which tell of a different era. This blend of perspectives is what we will explore. We will look at Shanghai from above, and from the ground, from its future and from its past. In this journey, we will uncover the many layers of this incredible city. We will walk through its history, from its humble beginnings to its modern-day glory. We will stand in the places where key moments unfolded, shaping not just Shanghai, but all of China. Then, we will explore its most famous attractions, giving you a guide to what you must see. We will also share practical tips to help you navigate the city like a local. Our goal is to give you a complete picture of Shanghai. We want to show you why it continues to capture the imagination of travelers from all over the world. Our exploration will begin where the city itself began. We will travel back in time to discover Shanghai's origins. Before it was a sprawling metropolis, it was a quiet fishing village. It was a small town surrounded by cotton fields, nestled on the coast of the East China Sea. We will examine how this modest settlement grew into an important trading hub. The river was its first great asset. The sea was its first great asset. They connected it to the rest of China, and eventually to the entire world. This early history laid the foundation for everything that was to come, creating a culture of commerce and exchange. Next, we will move into the 19th century. This was a period of dramatic and often violent change for Shanghai. The Opium Wars and the Treaty of Nanking forced China to open its doors to foreign powers. Shanghai became a treaty port, a place where different worlds collided. We will look at how the foreign concessions were established. British settlement, French settlement, American settlement. These areas operated under their own laws and created a city within a city. This era brought both great wealth and great conflict. It shaped Shanghai's unique identity as a place where East truly met West. The journey will then take us through the turbulent 20th century. In the 1920s and 1930s, Shanghai was known as the Paris of the East. It was a glamorous and decadent city, famous for its jazz clubs, Art Deco architecture, vibrant nightlife. But this was also a time of political upheaval, war, revolution. We will explore how the city navigated these difficult years. We will discuss the impact of the communist era, which brought profound changes to Shanghai's economy and society. This period saw the city's international character fade, only to be reborn later. Finally, we will arrive in the present day. We will witness Shanghai's spectacular revival starting in the late 20th century. The development of the Pudong district transformed farmland into one of the world's most iconic skylines. The city re-emerged as a global financial center, a hub of culture, a magnet for talent from across the globe. We will guide you through the main neighborhoods that define modern Shanghai: the historic Bund, futuristic Luzhizui, the charming French concession, the bustling old city, table of contents, Part 2, Act 1, Early Shanghai and the Treaty Port Era. Section 1, The Humble Village on the Mud Flats. Section 2, The Seeds of Commerce. Section 3, the Opium Wars and a forced opening. Section 4, the Treaty of Nanking's legacy. Section 5, a city divided, the foreign concessions. Section 6, the Paris of the East begins to rise. Long before the first skyscraper ever touched the clouds, Shanghai was a very different place. It was not a city at all. It was a small, quiet settlement on the edge of the East China Sea. Its story begins on the vast mudflats of the Yangtze River Delta. For centuries, this area was little more than marshland. The land was low wet and prone to flooding. Life here was simple and closely tied to the rhythms of the water. People lived in small clusters of houses, their lives dictated by the tides and the seasons. This was a place of fishermen, farmers, financiers, architects. The name Shanghai itself tells us about its origins. In Chinese, the characters are Shang and Hai. Together, they mean upon the sea. This name first appeared in records from the 11th century. It perfectly described the village's location, perched right on the coastline. The main activity was fishing. Men would go out in small wooden boats called junks to catch fish and shrimp in the bountiful waters. What they caught was brought back to the village. It was sold in small markets or used to feed their own families. This connection to the sea was the very foundation of Shanghai's existence. Besides fishing, farming was also important. The land around the village was fertile, enriched by the silt carried down by the Yangtze River. Farmers learned to work with the wet soil. They grew rice in paddy fields, and later, cotton became a crucial crop. The cotton grown here was of high quality. It was spun into thread and woven into cloth. This textile production was one of the first industries to develop in the area. It created a small but steady source of income for the local people. It was a sign of the economic potential that lay dormant in this unassuming coastal town. Life in early Shanghai was slow and provincial. It was far from the centers of power and culture in imperial China, like Beijing or Nanjing. The village was part of a larger county and was not considered particularly important. It had a simple wall built around it for protection against pirates, who were a constant threat along the coast. But for the most part, it was a peaceful, isolated community. No one could have predicted that this modest fishing farming village, sitting on a muddy riverbank, would one day grow into one of the most important and dazzling cities in the entire world. While Shanghai was a small village, it had one major advantage. This advantage was its location. It sat at the mouth of the mighty Yangtze River. This river is like a great artery running through the heart of China. It connects the vast interior of the country with the East China Sea. Furthermore, Shanghai was positioned in the middle of China's long coastline. This made it a natural stopping point for ships traveling north and south. This unique geographical position meant that Shanghai was destined to become more than just a fishing village. It was destined to become a center for trade and movement. As the centuries passed, Shanghai's role slowly began to change. Its natural harbor started to attract more and more ships. These were not foreign vessels, but Chinese trading junks. They would sail down the Yangtze River, carrying goods from inland provinces like Sichuan and Hunan. They brought rice, porcelain, and other products. Other ships would arrive from coastal cities like Guangzhou in the south or Tianjin in the north. Shanghai became a place where goods were transferred from riverboats to ocean-going ships, and vice versa. It was becoming a domestic trading hub, a crucial link in China's internal economy. The growth of the cotton industry also played a vital role. The Yangtze Delta became one of China's most important cotton-producing regions. Shanghai was at the center of this trade. Raw cotton was brought to the town, where it was processed and spun. The finished cloth was then shipped out to the rest of the country. By the 18th century, Shanghai had grown from a small village into a bustling county seat. It had a population of around 200,000 people. Its streets were filled with merchants, artisans, and dock workers. The quiet fishing village was transforming into a busy commercial town. This period of growth was significant. It happened organically, driven by Chinese merchants and Chinese demand. It established a culture of commerce in Shanghai long before the first Westerners arrived. The people of Shanghai became skilled at trade, logistics, and finance. They understood how to move goods and make money. This commercial spirit became deeply ingrained in the city's character. It created a foundation of economic dynamism and a population that was open to new opportunities. This foundation would be crucial when the forces of global trade came knocking on Shanghai's door in the 19th century, changing its destiny forever. The 19th century brought a powerful and disruptive new force to China's shores. This force was the British Empire. British merchants, backed by their powerful navy, were eager to trade with China. They wanted to buy Chinese tea, silk, porcelain. China was largely self-sufficient and uninterested in those goods. That created a huge trade imbalance. British silver flowed out of Britain into China. The British solved it with opium. They illegally imported opium from India into China. The drug was highly addictive. Millions became hooked. Society suffered. Silver began pouring out of China to pay for opium. Alarmed, the Qing sent Lin Zexu to Canton in 1839. He seized and destroyed massive quantities of British opium. Britain viewed this as an attack on property and free trade. They responded with military force. The First Opium War, 1839-1842. It was one-sided. British steam-powered gunboats and advanced weapons versus Chinese wooden junks. British fleets captured coastal ports and pushed upriver. In summer 1842, British ships sailed up the Yangtze and threatened Nanjing. Facing defeat, China surrendered and negotiated. The war ended China's relative isolation and began the century of humiliation. It exposed Qing weakness and the tech gap with the West. For Shanghai, the war catalyzed immense change. A quiet trading town was thrust onto the world stage. The British had noted Shanghai's strategic spot at the mouth of the Yangtze. Control the river, control the economy. The Opium War ended with the signing of the Treaty of Nanking in 1842. This was the first of what became known as the unequal treaties. They were called unequal because they were not negotiated between equals. They were imposed on China by the victorious Western powers. The terms of the treaty were harsh. China had to pay a large sum of money to Britain. It had to cede the island of Hong Kong to the British in perpetuity. And most importantly for our story, it had to open 5 of its ports to foreign trade: Canton, Amoy, Fuzhou, Ningbo, Shanghai. The opening of Shanghai as a treaty port changed everything. Before the treaty, all foreign trade had been restricted to the southern port of Canton. Now, foreign merchants, missionaries, and officials could legally reside and work in Shanghai. Merchants, missionaries, officials. They were granted the right to buy land and build houses, offices, and warehouses. The old walled Chinese city was suddenly no longer the only center of life. A new city began to grow alongside it, one designed by and for foreigners. This marked the beginning of a new era for Shanghai, an era defined by the collision of East and West on the banks of the Huangpu River. The impact was immediate and profound. Foreign merchants quickly realized that Shanghai's location was far superior to Canton's. It provided much easier access to the huge markets of the Yangtze River basin. They could ship their manufactured goods, like textiles and machinery, up the river. In return, they could buy vast quantities of Chinese silk and tea directly from the source. The city's trade volume exploded. Within a few years, Shanghai surpassed Canton to become China's most important port for foreign trade. The small domestic trading hub was rapidly transforming into a major international commercial center. This transformation brought immense wealth to the city, but it came at a cost. The treaty system undermined Chinese sovereignty. Foreigners in the treaty ports were not subject to Chinese law. This principle, known as extraterritoriality, created a great deal of friction and resentment. It meant that foreigners could operate with a degree of impunity. The economic boom also created new social divisions. A new class of Chinese merchants, known as compradors, emerged. They worked as intermediaries for foreign firms and became very wealthy. But many ordinary people saw their livelihoods disrupted by the influx of foreign goods and foreign influence. Following the Treaty of Nanking, Western powers established self-governing areas in Shanghai called concessions. The British and American concessions merged to form the international settlement, while the French concession remained separate, creating a city within a city. Life inside was entirely European, with grand buildings lining the Bund and tree-lined avenues in the French concession. This economic boom fueled a cultural explosion. Shanghai became a center for new ideas, entertainment, and fashion, earning its legendary status as the Paris of the East. The 1920s and 30s were Shanghai's golden age. It was the Paris of the East, a dazzling spectacle of wealth and modernity. Iconic Art Deco buildings defined its skyline. while legendary ballrooms and jazz clubs fueled its nightlife. But this glamorous world, with its thrilling, dangerous edge, could not last. In 1937, the storm broke. The Battle of Shanghai was a brutal conflict that marked the beginning of full-scale war with Japan. The Golden Age came to a violent end. By 1941, the entire city was under Japanese occupation, replacing glamour with a long, harsh struggle for survival. In 1949, the Communist Army marched into Shanghai, marking a dramatic new chapter. The vibrant cosmopolitan Paris of the East was gone. The new government transformed the city from a center of consumption into a center of production. For the next 3 decades, Shanghai entered a period of hibernation. Its glittering skyline was frozen in time. Its infrastructure left to decay as profits were sent to Beijing. Yet, in the city's narrow alleyways, a resilient spirit survived, waiting for the day Shanghai would reawaken. Section 5. The dawn of a new era. Deng Xiaoping's reforms. The death of Mao Zedong in 1976 marked a turning point for China. A new leader, Deng Xiaoping, gradually rose to power. Deng had a very different vision for the country's future. He believed that China needed to modernize and engage with the outside world to become strong and prosperous. In 1978, he launched Reform and Opening Up, which began to introduce market-based principles into the socialist economy and opened China's doors to foreign trade and investment. This was the beginning of the economic miracle that would transform China. Initially, the reforms were focused on the countryside and on special economic zones in southern China, like Shenzhen. Shanghai, with its heavy concentration of state-owned industries and its complex political history, was initially left behind. The central government was cautious about unleashing market forces in such a historically capitalist city. For most of the 1980s, while southern China boomed, Shanghai seemed to be stuck in the past. The city's infrastructure continued to crumble, and its economy stagnated. There was a growing sense of frustration among the people of Shanghai that their city was being overlooked. The turning point for Shanghai finally came in 1990. Deng Xiaoping, now in his late 80s, visited the city. He saw its potential and recognized that China's modernization could not be complete without the revival of its greatest commercial center. He gave his personal blessing to a bold and ambitious plan, the development of Pudong. It was marshy farmland and warehouses on the eastern bank of the Huangpu, directly across from the historic Bund. The plan was to transform this undeveloped land into a new financial and commercial heart for the city, a symbol of China's future. This decision unleashed a tidal wave of change. It was a clear signal that Shanghai's time had come. The central government poured massive investment into the city. Favorable policies were introduced to attract foreign companies and domestic companies. The energy and ambition that had been dormant for decades were suddenly reignited. The people of Shanghai, with their inherent business acumen, eagerly seized the new opportunities. The city was like a giant that had been asleep for 40 years. Now, it was finally waking up, ready to reclaim its position as a leader, not just in China, but on the world stage. The development of Pudong was one of history's most ambitious urban projects, undertaken with breathtaking speed. What was empty farmland became a futuristic city, designed to rival the world's top financial centers. Iconic skyscrapers like the Oriental Pearl Tower and the 632-meter Shanghai Tower created a new skyline, Lujiazui, the face of modern China. This created a stunning dialogue between the city's past and its future. Shanghai's port became the busiest on the planet, and the 2010 World Expo was its coming-out party, cementing its status as a world-class metropolis. The quiet city of the Maoist era had vanished, replaced by a vibrant, open, and confident global city that had reclaimed its destiny. Shanghai's urban landscape is a fascinating mosaic of old and new, best understood through its distinct districts. The Bund is the city's historic waterfront, lined with grand colonial-era buildings. Looking across the river reveals Pudong's futuristic skyline, a testament to China's economic might. This iconic contrast defines the city. For a glimpse of older Shanghai, the old city's heart is the tranquil Yu Garden, a classical oasis dating to the Ming Dynasty. Nearby, the Yuyuan Bazaar offers a lively taste of traditional life and street food, like the famous soup dumplings. A completely different atmosphere awaits in the former French concession, with its quiet tree-lined streets, charming old villas, and stylish cafes. Together, these areas offer a window into the soul of this complex and captivating city. Our journey has shown Shanghai's constant transformation, from a quiet village to the legendary Paris of the East. Here, the past is a living part of the city, from the Bun's grandeur to the soaring skyscrapers of Pudong. But watching is only the beginning. The real magic is experiencing it yourself. We encourage you to come and write your own Shanghai story. If you found this guide inspiring, please like, comment, and subscribe for more journeys. Until next time, happy travels.